Give it the countdown as I see we come to life here. Just put out the tweet that we were going to go here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Back, jet lag. Live from Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one representing BK to the fullest. Gets a pullus. Chicken heads be clucking in my back room fucking, but we're not fucking around here today, guys, because it's the Friday locker room. Usually we cut it ultra kayfabe declassified on Thursday, but I just flew in from the BinHamas, and boy, are my wings tired with good old JR riding shotgun. Y'all. Stevie, good to see you, man.
Oh, God, we missed you so much. You have no idea.
Yeah, man, we're gonna rock it till the wheels fall off. I was catching up on Messenger while it was going on live here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Obviously, our biggest numbered show, the Conspiracy Horseman, with the return of Russian vids. And I thought, maybe that enough time had passed in the locker room, but it seems like the boys want all that smoke, Stevie.
Okay. I mean, it spawned a lot of great ideas. Sal and I have been going back and forth in the morning, and before we went on the air right now on Twitch, we talked about it, and you seemed pretty excited about not the new direction, but kind of the more efficient, tightened up, and maybe more entertainment-driven direction of the show.
Absolutely. Stevie, what do I say to people's ideas being an improv guy?
Oh, I thought you were going to give me the steroid thing, the 2 side effects of steroid use.
Sorry, that's the only other cliche that I'm able to come up with. Ooh, let me just
remind everybody you're saying about that.
The side effects of steroids are popularity,
improv thing.
Popularity, money, and power. And then for anything that's creative as an improviser, the first rule of improv is to say yes, and yes, I hear your idea, and I support it, and I like it, and I'm going to add my little bit of spice into the mix. You got something going there, and I'm with it, man. Why would I fight against the tide and be like, no, this is the way it is? If it's art by committee and it's a group effort and the group feels like we're moving there, I'm not going to be the leg of the amoeba that sucks down and doesn't want to move, man. I'm gonna move with that energy. So yeah, yes, and could be some changes coming to the format of the Conspiracy Horseman. We're gonna work on it for the next month and try and round some things out. But I'm pumped about it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say let's just get through this week. That could be all the press releases that we're about to read.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said, I just came in on Al America Airlines, piloted it, and thought, I said I got to do the Friday locker room. I got to read all these headlines. Should we blast this one into the ocean? But good old JR said, by God, Hamin, let's bring her home. So we landed her and got back so we could be here live on about 3 hours sleep. So man, but it's good to see you, good to hear you. And I was marking out a little bit for the stuff with Russian vids on Conspiracy Horseman, just seeing you guys sell for it on our chat, man. But what else going on with you, man? Or how was that? Or how you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. Like I said, we always turn what could be construed as, something. It's a reminder. And like I'm saying, it's all on us really, because we went into that episode and we kind of do once in a great while where it kind of becomes a train wreck, or it becomes very ill-fitting. It doesn't feel right to us throughout the whole thing. So that's, instead of saying, hey, show's run its course or this or that, or we're running out of stuff, we reinvent it, or we tighten it up, or we look at what we're falling short. We do a lot of self-assessment between the four of us, and that takes into account mostly excuse me, it comes easy for us sometimes because we're always messaging through the chat room all week through Facebook, but we do need to be better prepared. I like producing, so I can produce more of the pre-show going into the main show, have a theme. I think segments would be a great idea. We've gotten all these ideas, which if we even use half of them, the show's going to be tightened up to a point where it's going to run much more efficiently. I still think playing some audio and video clips and reacting to it and doing that kind of stuff would be great for also the Hamin Media Group people who clip the show to have better markers to know when they can go from one to the other too.
I absolutely agree with that, man. I mean, this started out as us as wrestlers having a conversation and develop the brand, and it's been so awesome. But why not make your show into something that's even more concise, precise, and surgical, and allow for some more fun inside of those things, so you don't overstay your welcome, and you can keep it fresh and flowing, man. I think it's going to be great, dude. But sounds like you guys had fun this week without me. I look forward to going back and listening myself.
You know what? We tried, Papa Don was the one that invited on because of all the Twitter stuff back and forth. So you got to give it to him.
All right.
That he wanted to bring him on and squash the whole thing. And it didn't quite work out that way.
And that's, I got to put that on growth of GGP too, because if it was wrestling, he had a tough time. And not when he came back and worked on the show with Recon, he was in the beginning of the show when he first showed up. He's like, I can't be in a seg with that dude. And I'm like, oh, I get it, man. He popped your shoulder out, whatever. You're hot. I'll put you in something else. And by the end of the show, he being in the semi-main event, and then you know how he is when he wants to combine business and do the best business possible. Of course, he's in my sag. Of course, like this, that, and the other happens. So he's come a long way in being able to be like, yeah, man, let's just talk it out. But then when it still kind of blows up, he's not going to back down, but he's going to look somebody in the face and say what he has to say, man. So that's why GGP gets respect, no doubt. And I got to say, Das Sub with 100 bit cheers early, first one out of the gate this morning here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Yeah, man. Well, the JR thing that I was ribbing about. I looked up last night, and JR was first one on the plane. I see the big black cowboy Stetson hat there, and he was fully had his Dr. Dre Beats on, wireless gimmick. Didn't want to be bothered in first class when we were headed down, to the exterior cabin that I paid extra for, and then afterwards I must have walked right by him. But I just stopped and said hello when we were coming back the other way. Said what's up. I co-host with Vince, and it was, oh, great, man. He's like he was going to catch his flight. I'm not sure where he's living now, but yeah, I don't know, dude. He went down to the Bahamas. I'll say this because it's the locker room, man, and it's JR, dude. It's fucking all part of our wrestling life. Like he's the backdrop of our life. His voice is, something that will echo throughout time, the annals of time, long after.
He's an eternal meme, not in a bad way, but on anything that happens violence-wise, it's JR's commentary.
Absolutely, 100%, dude. So, but he's a man, and the fact that, he connected with so many people at a time that the business was the best it ever been. He's in all of our hearts. But, dude, we all know how tragic the loss of his wife was, dude. And he flew to the Bahamas, obviously not to be on the cruise ship. And he got there a day early and stayed 2 days after. So he was there pretty much the whole time I was. I thought he was just in and out, because I probably would have hit him up because I felt sad, man. I'm thinking this guy's down in the Bahamas without his wife that he lost. And now he's got to go home to an empty house and really is only escape in life still. And you know how we are about wrestling. I'm sure JR was burnt out on fucking wrestling bullshit 25 years ago. And, I'm not saying AEW isn't getting full value or anything like that out of him. It's fucking JR, man. No doubt you want him on your track if you can get it. But they're also doing him a solid by keeping his mind active, keeping him on the road, making him know that he's loved as, a grandfather of this fucking business, and that we want his knowledge or whatever. That's going on. But in those times when you're in paradise, when you should be enjoying your twilight years with the person you lived life with, and she's not there, man, that staring realization is very, very tragic and sad. In my mind, I could kind of feel that on him, dude, wearing all that black,
Yeah. My only guess with that, first of all, I can't imagine. I never want to imagine for either one of us or anybody out there.
I said that to Silvio. I said that to Silvio on chat this morning, and I go, it was cool to have him on the flight, but dude, I just felt sad, and I was like, I hope that never happens to one of us. Sorry to cut you off, but I said that same thing an hour ago to Sil.
Yeah, I don't wish that on anybody, no matter friend, enemy, whatever it is. I think he came in a day early and he stayed 2 days after because he didn't want to go home. He had mentioned on a lot of podcast segments that we listened to that the reason why he went to AEW is like, hey, I'm a widower. I'm in the house. I lived in with my wife. So who knows if he moved or not, but if he's still in that same house, you have to imagine, if they're gonna put me up for 3-4 days total, I'm just gonna stay there because and maybe I mean, it's tiring too. The travel takes a lot out of you. So we could be just speculating that, hey, he's sad because he had a vacation that he wanted to go on with his loved one. But at the same time, production meetings, all this other stuff, having to do all that, he's probably just worn down and just wants to get home. We've also been there. I hope that's more of what it was than what the previous theory would be.
I do too, and maybe I'm making more out of it in my head. I just trying to put myself in that man's shoes.
You empathize and sympathize with him because you were married. You know, you don't want to.
And I'm there with her. She's right there with me. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, if 20 years from now, if something like that happened to me, man, tough spot for a man to live through in the last chapters of his years, you know, so. And not to be like, hindsight's 2020 and pipe dreams of whatever, but like I wish I knew he was there because that night before we went to Atlantis, which is the big fuck off, dude. This club is unbelievable, bro. It's like you're going into the pyramids that they made. The structure there is.
That's the one with the water slides and all that stuff.
It's
right?
more than even just that, dude. I'm talking 8-9 story columns, structures, huge, just like. It's like when they first would have built the Colosseum or Rome and around you, even though it's all Disney phony, it feels and looks just massive. You just feel so small in the structure. And then there's this walk-through aquarium that you can do at night after it's like 30-something bucks during the day, but we had a full day trip and all that stuff and went over there, and it's just awesome to walk through the aquarium. It just goes on for a long time. But if I had known he was there, I would have just even reached out Twitter-wise, be like, hey, man, fucking, we're coming right by your hotel. I'll jump in the cab and we'll go over there, you know, just to get him out so he's not sitting in a hotel room in the Bahamas by himself, dude. Like, things like that, I was like, God damn, that rips me up. You know, that stuff's hard for me.
I agree, man. Like I said, it's hard to even think about, but JR's got to live and think about it every day. So
I know.
Definitely, we have nothing to complain about at all.
Nope. Mikey 3319, another 200 bit cheers, man. Thanks for the vacation. Old Athers sent me $5 via PayPal to get a drink down there. Via Hey Pal, yeah, Old Athers. I'll have one for you.
We don't need to be drinking at any funerals or anything.
That's the whole thing. You want one? We're gonna get in the open bar at the funeral, pal, because. That's the other kind of crazy news, man. It's not really on the sheets. Russo just retweeted us that we're back at it live on the Locker Room. We'll see if any other run-ins happen because of it here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. But, man, the Rocky Johnson funeral, Hannibal kind of the first one to break the news that there was some weird stuff going on. And maybe it involved Vince and Patterson. And then a shoot comes out where he said he talked to to Harry Smith, who was there, and can confirm that, they pulled the mic on Pat, and that Vince got up after kind of this 2 hours of an extended sermon that took an hour, where the minister like was berating wrestling as a rib, and putting Rocky Sr. over as, more of a man, which and like in the light of God, in a room full of workers, like every regal family of wrestling of the Tongans and the Samoans and the, from Snookas to all of them. I don't got to name them. I'll go watch the shoots. But Pat seemed like he might have dementia or something. He was telling a joke where he was getting a drink of water late in the night and you didn't realize that it was cool until the toilet seat came down and hit him in the head, like doing like jokes like that. And I'm sure it was like this when the toilet seat came down and hit me in the head.
Everybody went banana.
Everyone went banana. Like open miking on a fucking eulogy, bro. Like, and then Vince does like a half strut up, and Harry said that Vince wasn't looking good. He's lost a lot of size. And here's the backside of steroids, kiddies, is after all the popularity, money, and fame, once you go off that shit, your body reacts to it and suffers for the amount you did to it. You're taking it off those end years. You're saying, oh yeah, I'll do this to be fucking awesome when I'm 50 to 66. But guess what? I was going to live to 78. I'm only living to 76. Like, that's the price you pay. Well, you might not be shitting in a diaper and having an oxygen machine when you face the Reaper. Is that the trade-off? I gotta say, fuck yeah, bro. Like, nobody in those last 2 years is like, I'm fucking going hang gliding and watch me climb Everest. You know, you're usually eating soup, watching fucking, Judge Judy and shit. So why not get your shit in early?
I do that now. I that whole thing though. Do you trade wearing the Depends for dialysis at 40? I mean, that's the north.
Sure.
There's hints of there's rumors of guys that are way up in that company that are getting some dialysis treatments weekly.
That
because
and probably
Arnold was doing it.
Blood
Rumor about that his heart, his kidneys, liver from the oral steroids, all that stuff is going to come back on you.
Sure. And at the end, when you're trying to fight that deal that you made, of course you're going to do everything within your billions of dollars that you paid for, from adrenochrome to blood transfusions to dialysis to fucking probably transplants that you can afford because of the money you accrued while you did it. So regardless, it was just funny that Harry put that in there, like Vince looking small, because Harry looks big as fuck right now. I saw him training with guy from OVW, Alexander, and he's badass, man. They're just fucking looking incredible. But then I guess Vince gets up and does another weird spot where he's kind of half in character and says the best thing he ever did was have kids, like where he's alluding to The Rock, because they all made fuck ton of money off him and he's the next yada yada, instead of putting him over really as like a groundbreaker, I guess. And now this is all third party, right? And then I watched another one where it was one of Rocky's very close family friends, and they said a lot of that shit isn't true, and like that they didn't like go up and pull Pat off the stage, but they did pull his mic. But like, even if what is and what isn't, you're talking about strange behaviors at a funeral. The preacher thing I totally get, because that just happened in my uncle's shit, where they tried to put him over as like, and in his final 2 years he came to know Jesus, like after he's had pancreatic cancer, and it wasn't because of the disease, even though a lot of people knew he didn't believe. And I'm like, dude, stop selling this shit and tell this guy's true lineage, man. Like, yeah, but you're not going to stand up at a church and do that and be that fucking guy.
They don't have the objections like they do at a wedding. You can't stand up there. I would say this too, the whole thing with can you imagine, this just popped into my mind. If Harry, and Harry, he did a segment too on the interview with Hannibal about Benoit. He seems to be a pretty objective guy. So if he said, the boys can spot that a mile away too. Someone else would just be like, well, he seems tired or old or senile, where the boys would be like, that's, he's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if one way is correct or the other. What if Harry went up to Vince, shook his hand and said, hey, Vince, you're looking small. How long do you think that's gonna stick with Vince till the day he dies? Because that's the one thing no one would ever say to him. Like Harry would be like, I guess already he's not going back after like stooging that off.
You go up and give him the handshake and be like, hey man, where'd the rest of you go? Pat him on the fucking shoulder. Like,
he'd immediately get hooked up to an IV of steroids and growth and start squatting right there, squatting 500, squatting pews in the funeral place.
He's fucking up there doing deadlifts with Rocky's casket and shit. Come on, pal, come on.
Anybody put over this? Remember I talked about it last week, the story of Rocky Johnson getting thrown out of his house at 13 years old in Canada with, basically at Christmas time with a should be freezing and snowing, and having to make what he made out of himself with his wrestling career and with his family life too. To have a family after that kind of family life should have turned anybody off.
And The Rock, a complete class act on Instagram, knowing to say thank you to the millions and millions of people who send him personal messages or reached out just to do that. And then this shit, regardless of how true or how isn't, there's always going to be a speck of it in there, and I'm sure more will come out, because it's not like, if this was Snuka or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, you might think of whatever, like, okay, something a little crazy, but this is Vince and Pat. Like, nobody else, and the heat on the minister, who obviously was clueless in a lot of ways of who his audience was. You know,
at Crash's funeral, we had one at Crash's funeral.
Yeah.
My buddy Donovan and I still, you know how the boys joke about stuff 20 years later.
Oh yeah, for sure. Old. Crash would love it. Why wouldn't he want to get a spot?
Well, we were at the funeral. Well, actually at the cemetery, but the priest is speaking, or the pastor, or whatever denomination. I know you think it's all bullshit, no matter what.
It's all good, man.
But he stands there and he goes, yeah, and he's trying to put wrestling terminology into the funeral, and it's ridiculous. It's probably on par with this, but probably worse.
Right.
Because he's like, yeah. He goes, that's Satan had Mike down for the count in the ring, and then the rink, he called it the rink, which is really great.
Awesome.
So then he was like, he turned around and he saw Jesus in the corner, and he gave Jesus. The only thing he got right was the hot tag. He goes, Jesus the hot tag, and the hot tag. And Jesus came in and he pinned Satan for the 1-2. I was like, well, Satan kicked out like a false finish. So, and then he came up to me afterwards and he slipped something in my pocket, but his hand went like really deep in my pocket to where he touched me.
Yeah. Went, okay.
And I go, what the fuck? Right? That was at the cemetery. And so I go, what the fuck? Like in front of people. And I pulled it out, and it was a dude, the old school, like poorly, like this is like the Christian campaign, like forward thinking and current. The guy standing there, like a young guy who had all the money with his Hugh Hefner robe on and his cigar with his Porsche outside. And then in the next frame, he's got the two crosses in his eyes. He's laying in the casket, and like basically the cars don't mean anything. The smoking jacket, all that. It was so bad. And he was like, maybe I should have found Jesus. Like what?
Dude, the reality is he's a closet queer who thinks he did find Jesus because you were standing across. He couldn't stop. So that was his little bait to come over to be able to, touch you, because he's so closeted that he just wants to be around these muscle men, and that maybe you'll bite on it so you can come have some one-on-one counseling time and find out what this is all about. That is dude, a sexual predator hit on you that's closeted, that's got nothing to do with that. What in any good taste would in somebody's mind make them come up to one of their best friend's funerals to fucking pull that move, aside from some sexual proclivity fucked upness,
he could have handed me the little pamphlet thing. It was like a little folding pamphlet, like the side, it fits in a pocket. But to kind of come back behind me and slip.
Is that not everything I claim that all that shit to be right there, bro? It wasn't
Catholic, so we're not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Does that guy have a wife and kids too? I guarantee he's got a big beard.
Dude, this is 2003.
1-2. That was great. That was great.
Yeah,
dude.
But this guy burying the boys right in front of him at a funeral for one of the boys might top it.
Yeah. My buddy Bill that died, the D1 lineman, dude, he was like 3'10". And it kind of sucked because they buried him out in Indiana, even though he's a Camden boy, New York through and through. But his family is originally from out there. And I think they feel bad about it now, but we posseed up and we rolled out, 16 deep. Like, we weren't going to fuck around. We were all the pallbearers, but I'll tell you what, we had to be, bro. I had my cousin who you're going to do the show with, my brother, who's the same size as me, kind of, and three other dudes, big motherfuckers. We could barely get him up off the handles. We had to carry him. Like, that was the final rib. We had to carry him like 300 yards too, bro. It was through like grass and shit. There was no easy like way to the plot, and we were fucking laughing the whole way, like, you fat motherfucker. Like, everyone's deadlifting one arm, and like, so he's like, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna fucking lose him. We had to stop. Everyone reset. Like, dude, that shit pops the fuck out of me. I hope something
been
awesome.
A hell of a Jeep commercial or a pickup truck commercial.
Yeah.
Putting it there.
We had to like weave in and out of other graves and shit with this big ass fucking casket. Those good ribs. Good fucking final ribs. I hope something awesome like that happens in my shit. All right, man. Well, none of that's even the fucking headlines. That's why it was fun to talk about. But Big Steve Areno, we're back, and we got to fucking do it. So let's roll through it, man.
I can't believe I like those repressed memories just came up out of nowhere. Like, I'm like, what the fuck happened to me?
How did all the counseling go after that?
Terry Crews shit happened to me. I didn't even realize. I was so in the wrestling bubble. I was like, oh, that just happens. Right?
Right. Yeah, you totally were half, hit on at that time by him. I'm sure that guy's on Grindr if you fucking go on there, search him. Just checking the chat room. Sorry, it's far away and I don't have my glasses on. Let's see here. As we kick it off from ProWrestling.com, this is a Lulu. To start it, WWE Superstars set for Carpool Karaoke, the series. The teaser trailer for the third season of Carpool Karaoke, the series, is dropped and is going to feature several WWE superstars. Feature Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and his partner, Becky Lynch, all in one car. While the Miz, Maurice will appear in another, as well as that, there will be a third car featuring the Bella Twins and Daniel Bryan. Dude, I would drive that one off a bridge. Like, that would be bad. I remember there's one of, I think it's Brie. No, it might be Nikki doing, yeah, it's Nikki rapping Nicki Minaj in a hotel room. I'm sure it's on YouTube. One of the most brutal. I've dropped a couple verses on here. That one's bad. Nikki Bella doing Nicki Minaj. Go look that one up, kiddies. Let's see. Stevie, Carpool Karaoke, a red hot show, or, a red hot skit from James Corden that got over 6 years ago. And now we're doing it. We're doing it real big.
I think the thing that brought chills to my body was the two words after that, the series. I was like, oh my God, there's like more than one of these. Can't we just say all we need to say in one episode?
I think
how long are songs? Are they doing fucking the Metallica 10-minute 11 version of one or something? 11-second version? Oh my God, please stop. Please help me.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look up that Nicki Minaj, Nikki Bella.
I don't know anymore. I don't know why. Do people see the world like we do anymore? I'm not exactly up to date. I'm really not exactly the coolest guy or the most up to date. I'm an introvert. I don't go out there and I don't try to listen to music outside the 80s. I like what I like, but I still kind of know enough to know what's really uncool. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I'm not really cool, but
absolutely.
I'm just fucking cool enough to know not to do shit like this. Roman Reigns would be. The Roman Reigns thing is like, dude, unless you're doing it with your daughter and singing like Let It Go, there's some kind of family element to it.
Oh, well.
It destroys your whole fucking gimmick, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Fuck.
Also the weird description of Becky Lynch as his partner. What is that? Is that in the press release? Partner?
Sorry, say that again.
Seth Rollins Rollins and his partner.
Yeah,
they're engaged. When I'd say fiance, or
I think that's just the new thing. I don't know.
Oh, no gender thing, right?
Yeah, no gender thing. Yeah, that Nikki Bell thing is tough to find.
Oh, I hope that press release is there too, right? Is that press release there too?
What one is it? What are you talking about? Sorry.
The taking the woman's.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Oh, frig. Sorry, I had something on my mind. I was gonna fucking tell you, and I just lost
Cardboard karaoke.
it. No. Oh, Batista. Did you see him at the Cerrone McGregor fight?
Doing that deal, right?
No, yeah, but dude, right here on his chest, he's got this and a big fucking sun, like black sun with the rays coming out of it. That's his new fucking tattoo right here, bro. It's legit right here, like the Horseman shirt.
But that paired with the the all-seeing eye, or the one, the one where already cover up the one eye.
Yeah.
That deal combined with that is pretty suspicious.
Yeah, well, he did this too, like when he was.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
He did the thing they all do in their photo shoots, right?
Yeah. What the fuck, man? Like, what is really going on that would drive a guy who's a superstar to have to get that right there, man? Like, where it's going to be seen every time.
Keeps getting movie parts, man.
Absolutely. Now he's a made guy, and that is like the brand of that. Like, why would they do that, dude? What is he? Is he a Mason? Is he way high up? Did he become 33rd degree? I don't know.
I don't even know if he's ever. I didn't even know he was involved in it. Like, if you're not Damian Sandow, who's been kind of put into that, like you tried to join the Masons, you worked your way up, or however you work your way up, I don't know. But how do they pick a Batista and say you're the one out of all the actors in Hollywood, out of all the musicians, they pick a former pro wrestler? And we talked about on Horseman, how are they burying Damian Sandow in the Ascension
when that's their gimmick? Yeah, like that's what they want to get over.
That's what I mean. How do you pick Batista, even though he's the top guy, and if Vince is burying two other supposed Masons, one's real, one's a gimmick? Like, I don't know what the criteria would be for Batista to now be to the point where he's tattooing himself and doing the symbol at the UFC fight.
You got Harvey Weinstein up for rape trial this week, and you're fucking thinking that's a good idea to be putting over secret society of Hollywood shit? Sketch, bro. They still, that shows to me they're still clueless that we're knocking on their door. And even Batista's on our side as one of the boys. So how long before I get one underneath my eye upside down? I'm gonna get one right here.
Yeah.
Actually, I gotta get it left eye.
Didn't Harvey Weinstein during that screenshot where you made your T-shirt thing? He's walking away. He was quoted as saying something like, they asked him a question. He can't keep his fucking mouth shut. He said something, and he said something to the effect, "I have good lawyers." Like, he's fucking not saying like, "Hey man, this is."
I think they're gonna murder him.
Yeah, I think so. He looks like he's being poisoned. Like, he looks like, unless he's acting, because now he's not using the walker, unless he's trying to different gimmicks to try to get over as an invalid. But which his hope is he'll only go to like a club fed or not go to a
well, that's straight up.
Place.
What's the mob guy who did that? And then Junior Soprano on The Sopranos did the same gimmick off of that.
Vince did it at the steroid trial. He got neck surgery.
Yeah.
And wore a neck brace. When have you ever seen Vince vulnerable? The steroid trial.
Yeah.
No, my question is, with Weinstein, like, I forgot what I was going to say. Like, that's the bald face. Like, hey, I'm going to get away with this somehow.
Yeah.
They'll either murder him or it'll just gloss over, because there are enough holes in that case where the jury, I'm saying the jury, if they looked at it objectively, could say, yeah, I mean, it was kind of transactional. This happened, and then this person became a big star for 5, 6, 7 movies, and then they just kind of faded away. Like he has enough culpable deniability in a way in their eyes.
Yep.
Where it's a shame. It sucks, because, of course, this is how the business works. Yeah. Was the exact quote from him. Dude.
He's not bullshitting, but that's not the shit you say. He's not fucking.
Well, they quoted him as saying that. He didn't say, like, he wasn't leaving the courtroom like, "Hey man, it's how them's the rules." You know,
Now, but I'm all fucked up off this because I got a big submission match tomorrow at Bordertown Wrestling against mental moron Joe Pimentel, and I don't know if I got to beat him with the Epsteiner recliner or the Weinsteiner recliner tomorrow.
Why don't you send him over the top rope on the Lolita Express and put him through a table?
And then in a submission match, and we'll just ring the bell, and I'll do the Matt Hardy fingers after that.
Yeah.
And then Matt Hardy can do a run-in, because Matt Hardy on his WWE Raw appearance, at this rate, he says, at this rate, won't be many more. After making his first televised WWE appearance of 2020 during last night's Raw, Matt Hardy has teased that there might not be many more left. Hardy competed in singles action and went one-on-one with Eric Rowan, becoming the latest victim of the squash defeat from the man with the cage. Many fans quickly took to social media to voice their displeasure for the way WWE booked Matt, including Hall of Famer Mick Foley. He said, not crazy about seeing Matt in such a lopsided loss. Matt then himself took to Twitter to bring some question marks of his future. Again, thanking fans for getting him trending, admitting that at this rate, there won't be many more. His WWE contract comes to an end in March, and Hardy has continuously been teasing his future at the moment. Yeah, dude, we talked about this on Raw and SmackDown review on Russo brand, 75 cents a week, you guys. And this would be a great week to go back and join, because I don't remember most of what I said, but people are just putting over that I need to be hammered more on the mic, because I had about 2 big bamboos in me, pal. Yeah, 22 ounces, lots of rum, Bacardi 151, spice rum. I was drinking it all. So my mouth was fucking moving at a mile a minute, and you know, sometimes the ideas just come out, but they seem to enjoy it. And yeah, I don't know, Stevie. Matt Hardy. There's stuff I want to talk to you off camera about this, so please remind me.
Talk to me about it off camera. Oh, okay. You mean after the show?
Yeah, after the show.
All right, this infuriates me once again. Not Matt's social media post, but what they did to make him want to say that, and what they're going to do to him after that to try to, quote, teach him a lesson. Like, if you're burying somebody, or if you're being, like, it's the wrestling thing or maybe the world thing. When I call you out for treating me like shit and not wanting you to treat me like shit, then you say, how dare you do that? You're the bad guy for doing that. So now we have to teach you a lesson, because you have a bad attitude for showing us what scumbags we are. That's a bad attitude. So now we got to correct that.
How dare you?
Is anything off base by what I said there?
Nope.
That's their attitude.
Yep.
Like, you're going to make Matt Hardy,
a guy humble, who's made you millions,
you're going to make him humble. Like, you're going to test Matt Hardy. I always had a problem with this when I was with the company too. You're going to test the guys that never really need to be tested. And I don't mean drug test. I mean tested like attitude adjustment, work ethic, whatever it is. You're going to test Matt, but you're going to let the stuff that you call out, as the social medias are, happen every week, with only repercussions of more TV time, more pay-per-views, and more promos that you suck at.
Yep.
Okay.
I am. That's all I'm going to do with them. It's so bad. And the fact that I don't want to keep, like, you know, putting the stroke on them on there, because our fans have been clipping stuff out and sending it to them. I don't want to become that guy.
Clip this. Clip what I said just now.
Yeah.
Because they need to hear it. Matt needs to hear it, that he's not fucking crazy. Clip what I just said before, please.
Yeah. You can clip all this, man. And we got his back if there's an opportunity to do something, you know, outside the lines, obviously. But, yeah, dude, this just keeps getting more and more frustrating for anyone who really wants to see him do his thing, where we know that he should be unleashed. And it's still not. And it's the opposite of that. It's more leashed, you know. They love their big dog leashes over there. NXT injury report: Io Shirai tweaks her knee. Shotzi Blackheart being evaluated more. Io Shirai, sorry. Sharia law. Sharia is always in my head. First up on the list is Io Shirai, I guess, who was highlighted on the injury list. She tweaked her knee during a match against Toni Storm, was sent for an MRI. She is listed as day-to-day. Shotzi Blackheart following her defeat at the hands of Shayna Baszler. Shotzi was attacked backstage by Deonna Purrazzo, which resulted in some shoulder and back pain. She also day-to-day after evaluation in Joaquin Wilde. The last name on the injury report this week: Wilde suffered a rib and lower back pains following the loss to Finn Balor. Wilde was sent for x-ray to check on the ribs. I saw that Shotzi Blackheart thing backstage with Deonna. Did you just happen to catch that? It was in my Twitter feed.
I didn't see it.
So
on Twitter, remember?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if you saw it someplace else, but it was quick enough for Instagram. Shotzi Blackheart's walking with somebody, office, backstage, or a ref or somebody, trainer. And Deanna Prowler comes in, buffles her behind, hits the door, looks good. But then Deanna grabs her because the door's there and just shaking her and says that's why you don't mess with and then pushes it. It just looks not good. And it, violence wise, instead of posting her up, saying it, and then cranking her one time. So it looks like some girl fight shit, and Deanna's way more technical and better than that. And then Shotzi lurches down on the floor all fucked up. And then whoever this dude is comes in is who was standing there and watch her just Deanna fuck her up at 2 feet away. Are you okay? Don't move. Okay. Man. They need it's not the fact that that has anything to do with what their business is. I like that they're trying to tie something together using social media. I think all that's smart, but what you're going to put out there is what people are going to see. And they're in NXT not to further storylines or whatever they've hyped their mind are. It's to get them ready for the next level. And these scenes are their training tool. And this was not this was not a good scene. I'd have been okay, now let's watch this back. What can we do better? How can we reshoot this? Why are you in the scene and not helping those girls? Your reaction to this must be way more. You know what I mean? Come on, down, and push her back. And then she can juke on you too to make her none of that was in there. So they need to see and feel what not good is, and then use that, and let's raise it up, and how can we redo this the right way?
I hate those things too. The person happens to come in, the response time of you should have guards and the boys and girls watching, because there's always somebody looking to jump somebody backstage, so everybody needs to be on heightened alert.
Right.
But I'm looking at little things, and these are things that I wanted to say on the Raw SmackDown review. You have cops. You have paramedics. What happens when you watch one of these 911 shows or cop shows or whatever? What are they doing most times? Whenever they're there and arresting somebody or doing something, they're on the walkie-talkie talking to dispatch. There's always this CB radio stuff. It adds to the ambiance of the segment.
It's the reality of the scene. It's in acting. It's called.
They gotta call it in. They're calling it in. Hey, we have can you do a check on this person or whatever?
Sorry, you just did it great. So in improv, we don't know what's coming, and dude, whatever it is, say you got to play the ambulance driver on Master Shoot Theater. You just did it. What did you do to make it believable?
Oh, I reached up and grabbed.
That's called object work. There's nothing there, but the fact that you made it there and said, yeah, we got it, man. We're gonna be there in 2 minutes. Make sure that they got somebody outside the ER. We're coming in hot. That. All you have to do is that. Some people will do this. Is this real on a phone? Do you hold your phone like this? No, this is real. So these moves, and they got the real props to be able to do it. They don't have to fake it. but they don't even know that that's part of, okay, in my character as the ambulance guy, as the trainer, what would I do?
If you want to spend an extra few $100s to make it real, you get actual paramedics. You got the ambulance. You just have indie workers in uniforms. You get actual paramedics that'll be marks to be on the show, but they'll still get their rate. And you say on dispatch, hey, is there a clear channel where we can just act back and forth that nobody else is hearing so we can do it for TV purposes? Wouldn't that sound a whole lot better, than anything like that?
Because otherwise it gives your audience a way to punch holes in lazy creative and storyline. And when, again, we say this term a lot, but this is also goes to it about protecting your business. It's not when they hand you something like, I'm not doing this shit or laying down for this guy. It can be, but protecting your business is as much as, hey, why doesn't that EMT have a fucking thing on where he's talking to somebody to make the scene real? This seems kind of phony without that. That's also protecting your business, right? Because if it's not there, as a wrestler and as an improviser, you are the director, the producer, and the performer, and the stunt man, and probably the makeup person most of the time if you wear your own shit like Kong does, and maybe your own gear maker and fashion person is like Kong is too, man. You got to have all those jobs in his name are big artist jobs, each one of those individuals, and you had to do all 8 of those if you're really going to pay attention to having a high level of craft, man.
Let's give him one more thing away for free.
Okay.
If the commentators don't care that you're laid out in the back and they don't care to actually call and say, hey, listen, get somebody back there, this person's laid out, then why should the viewer care? You notice how they get jumped and they go, okay, let's go to the match. Like they should be, even though the music's playing, it should be a live mic of them saying, hey, somebody get Chris Brannon back there, or some of the people, there's somebody laid out right by the male locker room. You got to get somebody back. Okay, yeah. We're getting help for so-and-so in the back. Let's go to the ring. Dude, that adds such a fucking layer of realism. Like, I don't get, like, it's like football commentators, fucking somebody gets hurt, they're on the back brace, their neck, they got crunched, they might be paralyzed, and you're like, hey, catch SmackDown on Friday with Shanky Banks.
Shacky Banks.
Hey, make sure you tweet her, Shanky Banks.
Shacky Banks. It's Becky and Sasha's new
Shanky
game.
Banks sounds starting.
That's the new Jewish manager, Shacky Banks. Oh, man.
Yeah, we're done.
Well, are we done? Because they even when it comes to somebody getting beat down like that, how long does it take? The ambulance shows up and they're on their way out in the next scene if they go back to it, right? They usually just do the sweep, like it's the press your luck thing.
And forever.
And they don't come back to it. If it was a real thing, you should go to picture-in-picture where the match is the small thing in the screen and them checking on her. Like when a guy goes down in the NFL who's a serious player and they're going to cart him off, they stay with him and the game becomes the small picture-in-picture, right? They want to see how bad he is. He's $1 million franchise player. And that puts onus on WWE. Wow, that's our property. Like, how are they? What's going on back there? So if it feels out of control and somebody needs to be reprimanded, but just like, Shotzi, are you okay? Oh no, she hit you. Oh, okay. You ready to go to Buffalo Wild Wings? They got 99-cent boneless tonight.
Hunter might show up.
Hunter might come over. I heard he's gonna be there. I heard he might come back. Like, dude, like that's what it felt like. Like, so if they're not preparing them, that shit comes off as, again, junior high, 8th grade variety show play where they're doing that shit, man. And they're better than that. WWE reportedly dropping women's from NXT Championship. A new report from PW Insider indicates that an internal decree, quote unquote, has been passed around the NXT Women's Championship, currently held by Rhea Ripley, who simply will be known as another NXT Championship with no attached gender specified. Right now, this is only for the NXT title, and it's unknown whether or not the change will be coming for Raw or SmackDown Women's Championships in the future, or what they would be renamed as if they were going to be a change. During the Rhea Ripley segment on the Wednesday night's NXT on USA, announcers were notably careful in the way the champion was addressed. We were unable to find an instance of the term NXT Women's Championship being used. So it seems like some decree did come down of this is going to be a transgender universal title. So to me, and let me keep going here, Becky Lynch clarifies her WWE backstage comment on the term women's. Becky Lynch is taken to social media to provide further clarification on a recent backstage comment regarding the term women's in WWE, quote unquote. While on WWE backstage, the man made it clear that she doesn't believe in gender specificity, stating that to truly get in an equal place, WWE should eliminate the term women's from the company. Quote, she says from Fightful.com, the best thing for the women's division right now is to eliminate the term women's. It's starting to hold us back. We're going now. This thing's a women's segment. This is the women's thing. Why do we need a division? We need people. We need characters. We need people looking for the main event spot, not the top women's spot, not the top spot. Wow, I can't do it.
You need to say specificity. She
Specificity.
didn't pull that off. She didn't pull that word off. Stop it.
Specificity. What are people doing in the main event? To be the covers on video games, the cereal boxes, whatever it is. Gender shouldn't be an issue at this point. We're past making history. We've made all the history. Sure, of course, there's always going to be a time for more history to be made, but that's the equation for now.
Is this an actual... Wait, are you making fun of her? Or she actually just keeps saying history.
History to be made, but it's all in. But that's out of the equation now. Let's normalize it. End quote. She said.
Okay, go ahead.
Yesterday it was reported that WWE is already taking steps to the NXT Women's Championship. Dude, this ties into a bigger story. Now we have NXT selling for, in my opinion, this is me, selling for Impact with Tessa going over on Sammy. And I watched the Booker T shoot, which was great, where he said it was one of the worst ideas in wrestling because now what's the standard? And this is how clueless Becky is putting this shit out there. If you want it this way, fine. Guess who Becky's facing for the title at WrestleMania when she wins? Becky versus Brock. Becky dies in 6 seconds. That's it. There's your fucking lesson. Congratulations.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that can happen to you in wrestling? A lot of worse things. I'll just answer.
Drive to Chicago, work a show, and not get paid.
Yeah, I was still going to PayPal you the money. By the way,
he did. he did.
I was going to. I was going to.
No, that's fine.
I hate that feeling, man. I don't ever want anybody to feel that way.
That was a tough one. That was a tough day, but it was tougher for Scarpone. He closed his company down, and he fucking had to pay out like $20,000 in envelopes that night. I get it.
What's worse as a talent? What's the scariest thing and the biggest hole to climb out of is when you don't stand out, when you're not special.
Yep.
Now, they should look at this again and go, we're the women's division. So basically, we're already featured in a way different than the guys. I don't know why everybody wants to be all the same, because when you are all the same and you're judged on just the eye test or the in-ring, whatever, presence do you have, Brock, and then the rest. Like, what do you hope to achieve? Because all you're going to be, if you say I'm just as good as the guys, is a lower to mid-card wrestler at best. You'll have Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder put you over, maybe Ali or Shorty G, but are you really think Drew McIntyre or Braun Strowman or any of these guys you're just going to kill the product?
Yep.
If you do that too, if you are going to go the way of Tessa and have her beat, hey, for all we know, it could be her and Seth at WrestleMania. Seth wins the title before WrestleMania and they wrestle. And now it's like domestic dispute, which would actually be half interesting in a way when I'm saying it now. But yeah. Even Seth, do you expect Becky to be able to go 20 with him and do that style and not be exposed?
Yeah. She can't go 20 now without being exposed.
She's being exposed with girls that have the same style, the same pacing, the same wind, conditioning, strength, all these things that Disco talks about. And he has a great point. It's more of let's get the semantics of whatever, I can't take the big bumps like someone who's bigger than me, like a Mick Foley. I just don't have enough muscle, flesh, padding, whatever it is. So I'm Brock compared to Becky, and Brock is 5 Brocks compared to Becky. So what's going to happen when you take a body slam from Brock? Is he going to just kind of lay you down? Now he looks like shit. Or is he going to give you a regular body slam and you're never going to get up?
You should give her
an F. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's what you want, right?
Yeah, I want to give her an F5, throw her in the air like pizza dough, let her come down, smash her face on the ground, flip her over, step on her chest, Don't even pin her. Show that you're a 300-pound man, and she couldn't do shit if you were just standing on her chest with one foot. Do the phony pin for real. Let her kick 1, 2, 3, and she can't get up. And then you take your foot off her, and she can get up.
They wanted to do, on another note, I don't know if it's in there, but one of the rumors in your group was that they want to put Ronda over Brock at WrestleMania, and even though she's a legitimate fighter, it still won't have a good look, in my opinion.
All that is a rib on Brock for whatever heat he's got. And it's not like Ronda doesn't have heat with him either, because she would have been back too. After getting signed and then wanting to go have kids and all that shit. Like, they know.
Did she have a kid?
I don't know. I don't think she did. She had her finger tore off at a movie.
Is that the same thing? Does that feel the same?
Same thing. It was pretty much how I was, sitting 3 rows away from a 2-year-old. Can't stand my kids.
Congratulations.
6-man tag team match, contract signing announced for SmackDown tonight, Stevie. 2 big segments have been announced for this week's episode of SmackDown, which will, of course, be the final go-home show heading into Sunday's Royal Rumble. Fucks. Royal Rumble is Sunday, bro.
I didn't know that.
Roman Reigns will team with the Usos in a 6-man tag, and the Cousins take on Corbin, Roode, and Ziggler. Boy, that is a huge match. Shocked. We got that. In addition, the show will feature a contract signing between Daniel Bryan and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, ahead of their Universal Championship strap match at the Rumble. So just huge things going down tonight on SmackDown like you've never seen before.
We just ban 6-man tags from this point on. There's a 6-man tag. If you can't book a story and you can't further the story for a pay-per-view any better than a 6-man tag, then you shouldn't be writing the show.
I agree. Especially,
you can't book it, so let's just throw a bunch of people together and have a match no one remembers and have the baby faces up on the heels at the end of the show.
Make sure you get some clotheslines in. 2 of the guys got to get clothesline to show who the final 2 might be.
Oh, everybody's going to get thrown over the top rope, too.
Yeah,
get ready for that.
Absolutely. It's all shit cans tonight. It's a shit can SmackDown tonight, yeah. Sheamus. Yeah, shit can Sheamus SmackDown. I like that, pal. Write that down. Triple S. Sheamus officially launches his Brave Change Gymnasium apparel brand. The Celtic Warrior Sheamus has taken his popular Brave Change YouTube channel one step further by launching his own apparel brand, where you can get all of the best shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/BinHamas/Stevie Richards. No, for his it's Boston Scally, SCALLY.com. Sheamus's Brave Change philosophy has become a popular one amongst fans with his weekly YouTube videos on the Celtic Warrior Workouts channel that highlight different workouts with other wrestlers and fitness experts. Sheamus's Celtic Warrior Workouts Challenge has released a promo for the clothes, which you can see below. Oh, very cool, man. So he's doing his thing there. Jesus Christ, he's got some arms and shoulders on him. Holy shit, he's lifting a lot, too, it looks like. Heavy weight, heavy rep. I haven't watched much of his stuff, but I might go check it out there, man. We're going to see Stevie in a workout vid with him. I think that'd be pretty freaking awesome, man.
As long as we do the shows with Russo and he's with WWE, I don't predict that happening.
Yeah, no.
It's a different audience.
Here's the thing. They're not doing shit when it comes to checking their talent on YouTube, because Becky dropped that fuck you line last week on Asuka about you beat me and then you went home and made soup. Where somebody put that in there on purpose of you want to go be a little anime cutie, but we're booking you as a heel, we'll fucking bury you in a promo. Meanwhile, that shit probably went right over Asuka's head because of translation barriers or whatever, right? As heat. So maybe we would see you there because they don't clock shit or give a fuck,
Yeah. Well, who knows? I'm not worried about it.
Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, that's all I was going to say. I mean, we're just two different categories in fitness. It's fine.
Yeah, I'd love to see him.
I could keep up cardio-wise with him with all the conditioning stuff and everything.
I'd love to see him do his workout on Stevie Richards' fitness bands. I think that'd be the cool thing that way, not necessarily the crossover or the other. Everyone can lift weights. Walter admits that he wasn't invested in his WWE Survivor Series match. WUK NXT UK champion Walter recently spoke with Metro newspaper who reflected on his Survivor Series appearance. Walter appeared in the men's elimination match where he was eliminated fairly quickly, admitting he wasn't a big fan of that time. He said, I wasn't invested in that. I didn't care. I care about my guys, my group. I care about the sport. But I don't care about all those people being angry with each other. It's a weird match, too. 3, 5 men tag teams and always 3 guys in the ring. That's when wrestling turns into a competition to putting acrobats in a circus to do a show. There's 15 of you. You got to do something. I don't know, man. That's a weird statement to make of I'm not invested to a publication that's going to print your pretty much every word verbatim. And wasn't that right around the time that he lost the NXT title and got stolen in Chicago and shit? Passport too. So. Yeah,
the men's title, right?
Yeah, that is a real nice belt. Like it just came out too, and I don't think they got that one back, dude.
Is that why they did the new one?
Yes, like he just won it and it was his, and then it got stolen. Passport too.
It's very strange. I mean, especially with his character, I figured he wouldn't do interviews. He's just this very stoic, kind of quiet character.
Right.
That's what I mean. It kills it. If he has a voice like, a real high pitched voice or something.
Mike Tyson voice.
Yeah, man. It's just kind of, I don't know. I didn't see that interview.
Me neither. I just wouldn't be saying negative shit after I didn't put my title in the fucking trunk and shit got broken into and stolen. Kacy Catanzaro discusses the recent WWE return, why she's been gone. She's back at the PC. She says, I kind of figured out this was the right path for me or not. It was something that people usually talk about because I know this stuff is really difficult to get into. This is people's dream since they were born. Catanzaro said before admitting this wasn't necessarily her dream with her previous athletic pursuits. She said, quote, coming into this, I think it's fair to have moments where you're not sure physically or mentally. I just didn't know if this was the right place for me. She said, being away the last couple of months has been crazy. It feels weird a little bit, and it's that it's normal, and it's like I never left. And then it also feels surreal to be back here, said Catanzaro. A lot has changed, but something that hasn't changed is Caden Carter is still here by my side, so that's good. She's been showing me where everything is, and we got to do a fun photo shoot together. I'm not reading anymore. This fucking stupid copy after that. Fuck that. Here's a girl, super athlete, over as American Ninja. We go recruit her, Bright Lights, big city. Come to the fucking PC. Then you get there, and it's wrestling. It's the Sharks. You're not ready. Fucking people got you all upside down. She got over in her appearance in Mae Young and all that shit, man. She got over pretty good. And then the reality sets in, and a civilian is not ready to handle this shit, especially going into the deep end there. And freak out, which a normal human being would, and goes away, but doesn't matter because now you've got the addiction. The heroin is in you, and it is always fucking making you come back, especially if you know it's there with money behind it. And I think that's where this young lady is. What do you see, Stevie?
Who's Caden Carter?
I don't know. Her actually trying to protect her business, where that's the only thing they gave. Like, you're coming back to NXT and Caden Carter's going to be, Caden Carter's got my back. At least she was trying to do some little piece of business there, I guess.
I'll go back to the Matt Hardy thing. How are these people not being buried on the level of Matt Hardy when he has all the experience, the knowledge, the creativity? You can hand him the ball. You can trust him as far as, just getting over, not having to worry about much else. That's all I keep concentrating on is like, how in the world do these people just ruin their own business and yet they'll fail upwards? While Matt, what we saw on TV last week is just aberration. I don't know how to explain it.
Aberration is a great word. It's just tough to swallow. It's not just a slam on Matt. It's a fuck you to every guy in the biz who is, in that. You're like, want to get there, and you're like, here's this guy, man. Look what they're doing to this guy. Are you kidding me, man? And then you're waiting. I'm like, everyone's like, will Killer Cross show up? And I'm like, look at Killer Cross in Impact and made himself, and Matt Hardy to reinvent himself. You think they're going to do Killer Cross the right way if they're doing Matt that way, dude? And I want Killer Cross to be the fucking the real Monday Night Messiah, not this bullshit. The Killer Cross could be a Messiah of wrestling, and so could Matt as well. And if they're giving us that, bro, scares me, dude. Scares me for guys' debuts. You only get one chance.
To tell you were talking about Sheamus before. Talk about the Sheamus story again and what they were going to do to him.
They were gonna, for Sheamus to come back, and he even puts this over an interview. They're gonna give him a flat comb over, no more fucking mohawk, put him in suspenders, and make him look just like Jack Gallagher, a bigger version. That was their brilliant idea out of creative to bring back Sheamus, former X amount of time champion, solo, and then with Cesaro, bro. That was their deal. Straight laced. Sheamus probably looking kind of Peaky Blinders, but not, but maybe to be a pikey fighter a little bit. But dude, fuck that. Instead of going to him being like, Sheamus, this is your time, bro. You've given us all so much so far. What do you want to do? How can we support your idea and get the most out of it? Come on, bro. What do you want to do? Not comb your fucking hair over and put suspenders on. Thanks for playing. Fail.
Pretty much. These people, man.
Here's one that interested me because I haven't seen this name in a while. He was cool to me both times I met him in OVW. Alex Riley addresses reported heat with John Cena. He says, I'm not holding any grudges. Alex Riley spoke with Chris Van Vliet where he discusses reported heat backstage with Cena. He says, I think it came down to, in the end, two men just not liking each other. As sad as that is, it had an impact on my career because he is who he is. It just happened to be in a situation where right from the start, it was just, he didn't like me. I just don't think like he did. I tried to change the best I could. I worked very hard and tried to do the best I could to grow and learn to fit in a way a wrestler fits in, and that the way he wanted me to fit in. It got to a point where even some of the guys were like, what's up? I don't know. It's a tough situation. He continued, I would hear he didn't like me from other wrestlers from time to time. It certainly didn't seem that way when we would interact. It's wrestling. It's something where you can do your best you can to learn in a way that's productive and will get you better. I tried to do that the best I could. It just didn't work out. He says he respects John, but in his work ethic and everything he's done, he didn't expect to be on the wrong side of it. He said, doesn't hold a grudge. So that was a weird thing, man, where I don't know if it was Cena wanting something with a chick in the middle or whatever it was, but I've seen that, and I've been guilty of it before, being on Cena's side, where a guy gets on my wrong side because of work ethic or thought he was over. And this is at OVW when you're practicing to be a shark and how to bury people if you're going to be office, which I was, But some guys do who show up to play wrestler and are fucking heaters. So, hey, let's fuck with them. Let's fuck around, have some fun, man. It's the boys want to see that shit, right? So, and there's always going to be somebody to put the heat on. That's just wrestling. So, I think Cena did the same thing with Alex Riley, and once you're on the shit side of it, then it's tough to get back out of that.
I thought this heat would have passed. I don't know why it didn't. I don't know. It's just maybe two guys didn't get along, or he didn't like him for some reason, and it just happened to be the worst guy in the world you want at that time to not like you or not want to even give you the nod. You know what I mean? In wrestling, it doesn't matter. You don't have to say no. Just not saying yes is enough to bury you.
Yeah.
And this is well beyond that. And I know it was, I think he had done a move or something, right? And he came back and he said, Cena said, I'll break your fingers or something next time you do that. Remember that?
I don't.
He did like the burning hammer. He did something. Alex Riley. I just remember that story from a long time ago.
Because he was on the hot push, man, and it went down. I thought it was some side piece in between, but that could be, strike two or something where he's just looking, or Cena was looking to lash out based on that. Who knows?
But he was a commentator in NXT and did a great job with that. I don't know why he wanted to wrestle after doing all that. Remember?
Yeah.
He was really good.
Why is Daniel Bryan back in the ring after concussions, bro?
I know, but Alex Riley would be pretty safe from Cena if he didn't get in the ring or didn't wrestle. You kind of have your own little niche.
Right. And he might have been better in the spot than Corey Graves is right now, too.
Yeah, he was the one before Corey Graves, I think.
Lance Archer reportedly in high-level talks with AEW. He's been in New Japan for 2019, had a big year there, and now high-level talks there. So I'm sure when Moxley and them were there, Jericho, that's what the high-level talk is, and it just got stooged that he had a meeting with them to say what's up. I don't think he was on the cruise. Man, fuck. That was one of the things I was going to talk. So I didn't get to go. I didn't go down to the cruise. We had dinner reservations, and the show started at 6:30, so there was no way I was going to make it. But Josh and Justin from 2CW did come down to the resort, and we hung out for a while. It was a good time. And then they went back. But, dude, it was windy. It was serious wind, and it was pretty cold in the Bahamas. Like, it wasn't as tropical as I was hoping from that big cold front. But they must have had a shit ride all the way in. And then there was big, like 5-foot waves in the bay where the boat was docked. And then the wind shifted 180 degrees and they were having to go back into it. The ride back must have been a motherfucker too. So when you're at sea,
this is the boat with the ring in it, on it, and everything.
On it. So when they're at sea, man, up on top of the deck, there's nothing to break that wind coming through there. So, dude, it must have been a chilly motherfucker at sea. There was never any time that they could have been laid out like in bikinis and shit. Everybody had hoodies on and shit, man. It was no tropical paradise escape and no calm seas the whole ride there or back for them.
Well, that's why I don't like cruises, man.
Me neither, bro.
It's crazy. You're trapped too.
Yep.
You're basically trapped. The worst thing is the gyms are only open 9 to 5, so you can fuck yourself on that.
Yeah, and you're trapped. You're there, and fucking Jake the Snake's doing stand up and shit. You can't escape. It's fucking brutal, man. Brutal.
There's always some kind of like a health or sanitary issue on those cruise ships with so many people. I mean, I'm sure on this one, definitely, but you know what I mean? That people get sick, stomach viruses,
Yep.
It's just like it's like a petri dish.
Well, I woke up and oh, absolutely, dude. Once it spread instantly. I saw their ship coming in about 7, and then there was 2 more behind them. And when they rolled up next to them before they took off, the marks, when they got them all docked, were doing they were chanting "Your ship sucks" like all together at the Disney ship with all these families on it. Your boat sucks and shit. Your boat sucks. Your boat.
I got what they deserve.
So they had fun. Show looked cool from there. Dude, did you see him cut Britt Baker's promo on Shivani?
No.
You got to go back and watch that, bro. It's an hour 1. I'll send you the link. But Shivani interviews Britt Baker after a get-over, which it was an all right get-over. There was a lot of bad in it. I mean, Britt Baker's wrestling is just shine, tape trader, masturbator, fundamentally bad. She's not going to get it for another 2 years of being in the ring. That's just the rep she needs because the strikes and the duck clotheslines are and there's just so much air in a lot of things. But then the finish looked cool. But then she hooks her mandible claw after a double chicken wing, and it looks like a face lock. So the ref should be like, no, get off of it. But instead they ring the bell. And then she cuts his promo on Shivani about him working at a Starbucks and shit. And Shivani, it's a total gift take promo because the gift's already out there. Shivani looks away while he's interviewing, and he does a furley. He goes, he does a whole what the fuck take. And
wait, wasn't she a baby face?
Yeah, and so she's like, this is her heel turn. So she's starting to turn heel. And then the promo, like that was a good little thing of like, oh, Shivani worked at Starbucks. But then she goes into some dentist thing about his number 8 molar being rotten, and they just fucking trail off and cut it, bro. Like the promo starts going nowhere, and then she turns into Isaac Yankem for a second, and like that's it. So bad. So bad, bro.
They wrapped her up with the Oscar music.
Pretty much,
Oscar
dude.
Music. Why would she do it? I mean, that's also, dude, to say to somebody, first of all, this doesn't sound like a very like built up heel turn, like out of nowhere heel turn. You got a pretty girl who actually went to school. She's a dentist. She's doing things, and they built her up. What are they doing to these girls where they're building them all up as heels? Isn't it going to be lopsided eventually? Seems like there's more heels than baby faces, right?
Yeah, you got two heel factions. The only babies are little anime 90-pound girls who can beat 300-pound white guys with easily. Pretty the Lester the molesters easily, no problem.
I don't know, dude. This is who and isn't Tony Khan and Kenny Omega the two people that are running the women's division?
Yes.
I'm just saying, like,
and probably Brandy. Dude, it was it was pretty, dude. I'll send you the link. It was pretty bad, man. Like a new kind of like, what happened here? How did this segment get by? Let's see.
She would have had more heat. She would have more heat for calling him out on that Blue Chew fucking cameo he did and calling him a pervert and doing all that shit. That's a real thing right there. Like calling and him having that look of terror, like, holy shit, like calling him by every name in the book and accusing him. Like that's a scary thing. Right?
Well, yeah. Well, the best thing to come out of
nuts.
The best thing to come out of this is the what the fuck gift from Tony Schiavone. So you might have to get back on Twitter just to see it. We'll just see it in the seg when you watch it over and over.
I want to cut a promo about that Blue Chew commercial. It destroyed my childhood.
Oh, dude. When Schiavone's in the ring after he does that, what the fuck? That like the crowd starts chanting Schiavone. They cut to this dude in the crowd. He holds up his arm. He's got where Tony Schiavone signed his arm. He got it fucking tattooed on his arm, so it says Schiavone on his arm. There's your clip of the week right there, Plaza. And maybe Schiavone was saying what the fuck at that, but like, dude,
shit. Fucking Motley Crue tattoos not that fucking bad now, is it?
No, not anymore, bro. You got the Ski of Own on there. Hey, dedication, brother. Wow. Pretty rugged. But All Elite Wrestling announces New York State debut, and every indie worker in the world I know will be there. All Elite
in the neighborhood, visiting friends.
Yeah. Party at Harper's house afterwards. All Elite Wrestling announced their flagship program will be making an Empire State debut in Rochester, New York. The March 18th edition of AEW Dynamite will emanate from the Blue Cross Arena, and tickets go on sale today at noon, January 24th. Yeah, man. Everybody will be there. I really hope that Colin Delaney gets a shot. His match with Trent was fucking awesome on UPW when we were there. Almost every Colin match I've ever seen has been awesome for the years we worked together at 2CW. I hope maybe him and Cheech get a tag match against the Best Friends. I think that'd be the best thing. Cheech, if you don't know him, has wrestled everywhere. Chikara, 2CW, ROH. He's great. And he's a guy who's been around for a long time and helped train a lot of guys in Rochester. Captain Nick Ando, who I hope he gets a shot too, to be honest with you. I worked UPW for Hellcat for a while. I just kind of haven't been lately because he switched his roster up. It's fine. Any promoter can. And that's his city pretty much. You know, Luke Harper lived from there, and so's the guys I just mentioned. But there's a lot of indie workers there. But Rochester is the weirdest city in New York. It sticks out differently than any other place in New York, and it's one of the hardest places to draw, to be honest with you. Blue Cross Arena is dope. I've seen Wu-Tang there. I've played there where we did the Comic-Con there with UPW. It was very cool. But like, it's very nerdy. It's very SJW on purpose, like because Kodak was there. So and Xerox, I think too. So they got a lot, maybe IBM. They have a lot of like second and third generation higher thinkers, waspy people, where on either side is Buffalo and Syracuse, which is filled with testosterone, fuck you motherfucker mentality from the Bills and all that to Syracuse with the Loud House. Rochester seems way more pussy, but like opposite, way lefty of everything else around them. And then you get down to Albany and you get Stadies and all that shit because it's all politics. But they have their own niche carved out there, but they're all going to be there. But Rochester is probably the hardest town to draw in my experience of playing all over New York. And what's weird is the Bucks were with us in Syracuse and all over with 2CW. And Binghamton, even with Excite, which is a 2CW split off, Cody did a lot of business there. I would have maybe picked Syracuse, and Josh and I were talking about this, Syracuse or Binghamton over Rochester. Rochester may sell out and work. We'll see today at noon how tickets go, because you will draw from Buffalo, you will draw from Canada, you will draw 2CW from Syracuse. So if Rochester's in the middle and they converge, maybe they did think about it, and that's where they want to do it. And maybe they debut Luke Harper there because it's March and Luke lives there, and that's right when his 90 days is up. So there is a lot of value. I haven't talked to him about it, but it could be the perfect move, and it's just going to hype everybody in Rochester to maybe make that more of a wrestling town. So it was an interesting choice.
Well, here's some thoughts on that. Number one, that they haven't been selling out any of the arenas. I mean, it's been across the board with pro wrestling. Live crowds, you can't draw a full house. It's hard. Even if it looks good on TV, that's great. That's the main point of that. Rochester, I go back to the DSW, was it underneath OVW?
Yeah, Dirty South when it was down there. Yeah.
All right. Well, if they're going to debut Luke Harper there with Rochester as a surprise, it's not going to draw any pre-sales of tickets. You would have to announce him as debuting on Dynamite that night and being there or speaking, after his 90 days are up or two. And you'd have to do something where the local people want to come out to buy tickets.
Right.
Does that make sense? If he's a surprise, you've already...
Blue Cross Blue Shield isn't too huge, so I think my point was that they could, I think, drawn from 2CW loyalists and now because Pepper and them have built up ESW in Buffalo pretty well. I think they can get, if they're gonna, they'll definitely have Butcher and Blade on there, and they'll bring their squad. 2CW heads will show up just to see Harper and them, and Cody did good biz in Binghamton for Moose at Excite. I think he'll draw from all of them, and I think they may sell out. Josh was like, we'll see today, because he's a ticket master. Josh is fucking phenomenal promoter. He's the guy who owned 2CW. But he knows how Ticketmaster works inside and out and how a show is going to sell out based just on early pre-sale. So we'll see, man, afternoon today in the next 24 hours how well it does. Enzo shoots hard on top New Japan stars. Challenge issued for Mania weekend. He's going back and forth with Tama Tonga and the Gorillas of Destiny. And they say they wanted to have it on that Bloodsport card, but I don't think it's going on there. They want to do it in Mania. And he says that he turned down the $25,000 offer to compete at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 3. And is now running a show under his own brand. A challenge has been thrown down to Tama to show up, stating he would donate his cut of the proceeds to suicide prevention and those dealing with depression. So he cuts this whole promo. It's pretty long. I'm not going to play it, but you can check it out on Enzo's YouTube. And what started as a weird ROH thing from kind of being booked where guys weren't smartened up and then fucked over their finish or their tag title. I think they won the tag titles right there. The Girls of Destiny did. And then the Enzo and Cass thing happened and they weren't smartened up and it was weird as a work shoot. And then more stuff, obviously, with Cass and Janela and all that kind of being a weird thing. But then we come back to this and now it's a work for charity as opposed to like really believing that this shit's a shoot where they're going to throw down, especially when they're cutting shoot promos on each other and then like, and if you want to do it, we'll do it for charity. Like, no, okay. There's no real heat there, right?
I don't know. I don't know how this kind of stuff like that. This has been going on so long. It doesn't become white noise with no payoff.
Yes.
We're talking about a year, but not a year where they're on TV going to each other. This is all Twitter. There's no promos being cut. There's no, who knows? They might do it Mania weekend, but it's just like, how many people is it? Is it an echo chamber or is it a false positive? And this kind of connects to the Rochester thing. You said, oh, well, Pepper's got the ESW, and like Cody had a match on an indie back in the day against Moose. I just don't see how I mean, to
well,
the diehards, but how many casual fans are going to really translate into going out to the show?
Sorry, I got to put Cody. I got to stop you there because that's heat on me. So Moose is former 2CW tech guy, and he opened X-Site, the Fat Johnny Moose. And
I thought you meant Moose from Impact.
No,
sorry.
No, that's fine. But I haven't worked for X-Site because I didn't like the way Moose came in and picked the bones of 2CW. And that's well known, and a lot of guys feel that way, but they earn their paychecks, and I take my moral stance. I don't hate Moose. We're 2CW brothers. It's just what I do. And sometimes maybe 2020 is the year for me to stop doing that shit. Maybe I need to be a better person. But regardless, when X-Site was first kicking off, and like any shindy promoter, you got your ring, you're trying to hold it together with bubble gum and fucking dreams and duct tape, and the ring broke, and he's paying Cody probably $2 to $3 grand or whatever. I think Cody didn't take any of from what I was told, Cody didn't take any of the money. He told him to get his ring fixed, and fucking Moose put it all into the ring, getting redone and shit like that so they could go forward. So regardless how I feel about, business and indies and dealing with all the bullshit that you got to do as an indie worker, or Cody, for whatever reason, doing SJW stuff and, maybe saying one thing, or people might say one thing or another about him. I came up with him, and that's the kind of fucking move that I believe he would make to say, let's keep wrestling healthy. And if you don't have a ring, you don't do shows. And I know that you paid me a lot, and I'd rather be smart and come back and take another booking or two and help build this territory for what I'm doing down the road. So that I just had to clear that up. It wasn't Moose versus Cody in a match where people are like just that,
Okay.
That'd be enough for Moose to go, all you motherfuckers, because he just opened his own dojo, you're all fucking driving to Rochester. I don't give a fuck. And you're all buying t-shirts. That's what I would make my whole fucking school do too, because that's just a good look. Like that's like, he supported us. This is what we can do to make sure we show out for you guys.
Yeah.
So, and our final story, Scott Steiner, the challenge for the NWA title at Hard Times pay-per-view. Holler if you hear me, Stevie. Big Papa Pump's back on his way to the wrestling ring as NWA has officially announced that Scott Steiner will challenge Aaron Stevens, once known as Damian Sandow in WWE, to a match for the NWA National Championship. This is a strange matchup. Will go down in just 2 days' time on Friday, January 24th. So today at NWA Hard Times, live on Fight TV. It joins a stacked card that we'll see Aldis taking on Ring of Honor's Flip Gordon, an interpromotional non-title match, a tournament to crown a new NWA TV champ, and more. So Idol kicking ass with this karate stuff with the pre-tapes and all that's fucking hilarious, man. And I even saw him respond on Matt Hardy where Matt was doing, Free the Delete or whatever. He's like, have you ever thought about trying karate? So you never know. That would be an awesome crossover in the Broken Universe. Idol Stevens. What do you think, Scott Steiner, new champ?
It would probably get more eyes on the YouTube channel, and maybe even if they were going to go for any kind of local TV or Netflix or something like that, to have a name like Steiner attached to it, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I think it could be good. I think you can even bring Rick in to do something versus the mask guy as well. But I don't know if this is the matchup, but I also don't see Steiner laying down for Idol's comedy as the way to go. Then again, Idol doesn't need a belt. He gets over with character. He's Rip 101.
He can just squash him real quick.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the best way. If they put time in, doesn't help anybody.
I agree.
I would say too, why didn't they build this up to have like fucking 2 chalkboards in the ring and do fucking a math off or something, and have the Steiner math promo and versus Sandal's fucking theory of whatever? That would have been entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Bring back the scholar guy with the robe and or
right, where he breaks down Steiner math, the whole fucking thing.
No, Steiner math. Steiner does his math. He does something else in a theory, and they compare their theories. And the crowd decides who wins.
Yeah, that'd be.
I don't know. That would be.
And Steiner wins, and then Sandow buffaloes him. And
where's the heat for the? Is this weekend?
Yeah, 20
Dude,
tonight.
That's a fucking pay-per-view on Saturday and a pay-per-view on Sunday.
I think it's tonight, 24th, I believe.
So you got a whole weekend that you're going to pay Fight TV on the network. Doesn't cost anything, so it doesn't matter. Not for us, at least.
Yeah, man. But we made it. My voice already going out here on the first one, so we'll rest this weekend. Well, maybe not tomorrow. I'll be screaming and yelling. I doubt not. I'm not gonna be screaming, yelling, I quit or tap out, but I'll be screaming at the morons of the mental club across the border in Canada, beating the shit out of them. I think maybe I'll use the Epsteiner recliner instead of the Weinsteiner. We haven't switched it back yet. What do you got going on this weekend, man?
I don't quite know. We're probably going to create some content. We'll do an episode of Stevie Richards broadcast. I'm going to practice. I got a folder here with sample scripts to start practicing some voiceover stuff because the boss has cracked the whip. So I'm gonna do that. But I'm prepping. That's one of the reasons why I go out. When I go out to PAX East, February 27th to March 1st in Boston, I'm going to be representing Retromania Wrestling, and I'm hoping to kind of network a little bit with some studios and some developers to see if I can do some voiceover work in the video game industry. It'd be pretty cool. So
absolutely, man.
I just want to create a world for introverts where they can make money. That's my niche now.
Yeah, I'll definitely put you on. I'll send you his information. My buddy Tyler Lansdowne, who does plenty with video game stuff, man. So it'd be awesome in some creepy shit, dude. It'd be great to have you. Yeah.
Let's see. My wife said I'd be great at technical stuff, but then it was the fucking thing. Like I go, well, let me see that one that you have up there, and she goes, oh, this one says upbeat and happy, and I go, oh, thanks a fucking lot for that.
I could see you as like doing the characters like those Walking Dead video games and all that kind of shit, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man. The thing is, because there's all these videos on how to do this and how to do that and everything, but it really does all come down to the fact that if someone's a mark for you, and it only takes one to be a mark for you, just like in wrestling, and you can see how that can like roll into something. Just like when people forget about you, it comes back down. It's so fleeting.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to open that door real quick here in the next quarter, man. I totally believe that. But yeah, man, we're just gonna get back in the saddle, try and get things hammered out structure wise on shows. I gotta upload Horror Junkyard today too, so you'll get a double shot after I cut this together. If you're not watching live here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, what's wrong with you? Keep an eye out. Follow at Hamin Media Group, at bin_Hamin on Twitter if you need to get at me. I should be back around full time once again, Infidels, as we no slowing down into 2020. Got the batteries recharged, took some naps, which I haven't done in probably about 6 months. So that was definitely what I needed to get away with the wives and hammer down, and some delicious drinks, Stevie. I was drinking all that rum and that sweet fruit juice, so it's back to Planet Shit List heavy cardio and yoga this week after all the travel. Get my spine realigned. Joe Pimentel's spine tomorrow. And set the hooks in, Infidels, because it's your Friday locker room here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, hackerhamin.podbean.com, Hacker Hamin on your iTunes. All free shows. Check out Russo's brand if you want extended content with Stevie and I getting real crazy in the Caribbean, getting drunk, pal. That's what we do down here. Yeah. But you know how it is, guys. We're here. YOLO.